So I'm going to begin this teaching on the relationship between the below and the above and the above and the below, the macrocosm and the microcosm, by beginning how I want to express myself. So I'm going to show some graphics here and comment on them a little bit. So I begin with drawing a plane. So our expressed parameter here, definition, is this plane. But we don't have anything to define the plane. We need something to create relativity so we can define our expression. Okay, so we're going to add this guy here. We'll call this guy Blue Man. So Blue Man has entered into the plane. Blue Man exists in 3 dimensions, and he's confined by our plane here. Okay, so we can see there's another plane above the 3-dimensional space defined by Blue Man and the slice of the 3-dimension that is the flat inner white rectangle. You following? Okay, so they are defining one another relative to one another, and we've encapsulated Blue Man within a 3D plane. Okay, so now let's add our next element here. These are the torus beings. The torus beings. Can we see that? Ooh. The torus beings are outside of the 3-dimensional axis, which we've defined here with Blue Man, and we can see that Blue Man is exerting a mental force which is moving in some way that we can't really define in 3-dimensional terms. You know, thought is not spatial. Is thought temporal? Possibly. We can look at it like that. So here we have a mental influence by Blue Man, and for the sake of argument and for the sake of me using this to express myself, let's just say that Blue Man is me. Okay, so Blue Man here, he has powerful mental radiation. He can influence people, right? So Blue Man, keep doing that. Blue Man exerting mental influence. Purple people also exerting mental influence on Blue Man. So these people, the physical bodies of people, rather, the outer expression of people, relative to the 3rd dimension, create a field on another axis that goes upwards. So the people, when they exert influence to one another through their sense consciousness, when their minds are hooked, lassoed together by magnetizing power, they, through perception, basically, perception is what this is, they exert influence on one another, on another axis that isn't spatial. Right? So, imagine, so Blue Man here has, Blue Man here is enlightened, okay? Let's just say that Blue Man is enlightened and he has the capacity to transcend from a higher octave dimensionality, okay, Blue Man. Okay, so Blue Man exerting his strong influence here on these people. Okay, so these torus beings, that's why I originally came up with wanted to draw this diagram. Okay, so you can't see this because it's backwards, but it says the torus beings, if the torus beings were to sense the mental influence of Blue Man as aura colors, as an infusion of a certain pattern throughout time. Okay, so The reason I drew this is imagine, yeah, the way a little bit here. Imagine that these Taurus beings were to have a kind of inner, extra-dimensional mental connection to Blue Man, and also, you know, they could kind of telepathically sense or penetrate into the third dimension from a higher vantage point, right? They would see, if they were able to encompass mentally all of the sensory information coming from the different 3D spaces, the influence that Blue Man exerts would come up as a kind of pattern in the way that it's influencing. It would appear as like a strengthened pattern through time as it moved through time. I'm gonna go full schizo mode here because I feel like it. So Blue Man here is kind of inputting a kind of higher metaphysical pattern onto reality, right? And it's being picked up by the pink beings, the Taurus beings, extra-dimensional beings, who in turn are communicating with Blue Man into the third dimension. Okay, so you can see that here that I've drawn out. Okay, we've got that. So I'm going to add another level of illustration here. I'm going to enhance it a little bit for you. Okay, so there we got a pattern, see? And you know, I think this drawing speaks for itself, so the less I can really try to elaborate too much, and the more I leave it kind of ambiguous, because it's a very subtle drawing what I've got here. So we've got a green star, okay? So let's see in the thought streams between the beings, the sentient beings in the third dimension, the thought streams between them, you've got a green star, right? So you see the green star is as above, so below here. There's patterns emerging in an extra dimensional capacity above through this relativity between the 4D objects and 3D objects. There's these archetypal patterns. These are like platonic solids. These are archetypal platonic dimension of the new sphere. Okay, so you got green star sensed by the beings here floating around in the mental stream. Okay, let me add another enhancement here. Okay, so Blue Man here, he's done a little bit of yoga work in cultivating his merit field by bodhicitta aspiration, and he's been able, through perfecting his virtue and his wisdom, generate a higher dimensional shape here, which reverberates into the new sphere. Okay, so this is like a merit field. A merit field, Buddhas on a higher plane, co-creating a merit field with the sentient beings. Let's say that this pyramid is, you know, this particular person, meditation is that pyramid, or you know, one of the paramitas. It's a uniquely crafted, spiritually infused image, which has efficacious energy. So there's this reverberation from above and below, right? And left and right. Within, without, above, below, left and right. Okay, so I'm not gonna even rant about this too much, because I'm still kind of just drawing this. So here we've got the wisdom beings, the jnana sattva, like Tara here, the mantra, and we got the samaya sattva, the commitment being, the being which we generate ourselves as in meditation, in the actual para. Yeah, I think I'll just leave that picture there.